This October, we need to talk about us. Welcome to Sync Floyd, the podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name is the tethered soul of Gareth Blackler, and from deep in the tunnels, it's James Barron.
Hello, Oogie Boogie, Gareth. It's still that time. I'm just going to keep saying Oogie Boogie until it's my catchphrase.
Until anyone else knows what
I'm talking about. Please, God. I've emerged from the darkness, Gareth, to talk about a true horror film. I feel like this is maybe the first true horror of the show, because this is a straight up and down horror movie.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I personally, and we will tell you what this movie is.
I guess The Thing, but anyway.
I would actually say, like, I found this more of a thriller the first time I saw it.
Yeah?
Because, I think the movie's Us. It's directed by Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
It's follow-up to Get Out. It's bloody good. I saw it as a double feature with Get Out back in 2019.
Nice.
And, like, Get Out's so much slower and, builds creepy tension. This movie, once it goes.
Oh, yeah. You get hit with the horror starts happening early and just does not let up. So yeah.
Once there was two moments that we'll talk about that were like my whoa, this is the movie moments, and that happens. I remembered it happening very quickly, but to be honest, watching of Pink Floyd, it does happen a full album's play in. Yeah,
pretty much. The context of the album adds a lot to the actual timing of the movie, but there you go. Maybe you were just so ready and waiting for things to kick off, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So what do you think of this movie, James? Do you have a relationship with Us?
Us or them? No. I had not seen this movie before, and so I watched it clean, as I am wont to do, and then I took a wee break and walked around my house, and as I'm wont to do,
locked all the windows.
Yeah. I came downstairs. First of all, I came downstairs in my house, and immediately the first thing my eyes settled on was on the kitchen table was an enormous pair of shears of clothing scissors, and I was like, "Oh, good! I'm so glad that these are out here in my vision."
Whoa, you're being pranked.
Yeah, maybe. I think it was just a sweet prank. But I nearly took a photo and sent it to you, but I thought that might be too much, honestly. I did that, and then the same day watched it again with Pink Floyd, as I want to do. And honestly, what this has happened before, but I feel like watching with Pink Floyd definitely takes the edge off. Because the first time I was a scared, shocked little child. And the second time I was able to process things a lot better. You know, like I did the thing where I talked about this last week, where I am like breaking down and analyzing the horror of a horror movie and trying to understand it, and that makes it less scary. And that's like what we do on the show. So I found that really helpful, and like it really like made me like the movie a lot more and made me less scared of it. So that's cool.
Okay.
But yeah, I did enjoy this film as the moral of the story here. It's good. Seek it out. No spoilers review.
And then you went downstairs and there was a different pair of shears, but a small Pink Floyd CD sitting on top of them.
Yeah.
You're like, safe this time.
There we go. Yeah, it's fine. The protection of the Floyd was as a warm blanket covering me. That cannot be.
That should be our merch, is just big Pink Floyd blankets.
I feel like the Floyds would come after us no matter what kind of merch we do. Like, we can lock in the Sync Floyd merch. I think that's fine. The legally distinct title. But I don't know how close we can lean into their branding, but maybe.
Okay.
It's just you and me shaking hands and on fire.
Yeah. It's like, why didn't we Photoshop this?
We did it for real, because these mics are running hot.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Us, this sweet film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I adore this film. But I think I'm like, I don't know if I can consider it objectively because I'm such a Jordan Peele head. Like I had the stretch where I would cook myself my dinner and then sit there on the floor eating my dinner out of a bowl because otherwise I'll spill it. And watch just any Key and Peele sketch. Like, because I eat pretty quick, so I'll probably do like 1 or 2 Key and Peele sketches, eat my dinner, and then I have to go off somewhere. And I'll probably spend the walk or the drive just trying to. The thing about, if you're a nerd, the thing about the Key and Peele sketch structure, Key and Peele being the TV show that the director of the film, Jordan Peele, did beforehand. Jordan Peele is human. Anything else you might have missed under a rock. The structure of those is, it's always very like, they find what's funny, they find like a funny idea, they play it, only that to it, everything else that's not part of the idea is really serious. Yeah. So you can like, if you're a nerd who has read the Upright Citizens Brigade improv book, you're just going to be like in paradise figuring out like, oh yeah, that's the game. Oh yeah, then he's doing that move, that's move, and then they're resting it. And yeah, it's great. It's sad. And then I saw Get Out by myself on a Sunday afternoon in a quite chilly cinema. I was eating a pie because I think I'd forgotten to eat a proper lunch. And it blew my mind. And then, saw Us and Get Out as a double feature.
Very
Loved
nice.
it so much. It was so good that I saw Us with a very recent ex when I first saw it. This is how good Us is afterwards it wasn't awkward because we just talked about Us. Not Us, the movie Us. It's a good film. Check it out.
When you should have been talking about Us, you were talking about Us.
Right?
That's great. Oh my God. What a confession at the top of the show. I love it.
Yeah, actually, I was so debating. I've put off choosing this because it's like, that is the most interesting part of my personal relationship with Us. Yeah. But, I sound like a sociopath.
No, it's fine. Who doesn't talk about a movie after watching a movie? Like, that would be a sociopath move, Yeah. You just walk outside, nod your head, and go your separate ways, and that's it.
There's only 2 times I haven't talked about a movie straight after seeing it. Mm-hmm. One was when I went and saw Minari, and then we came out of the cinema, switched our phones on, and found out that the COVID alert levels had changed, and that we were going into level 3 lockdown.
That's fair.
That night. So we didn't talk about Minari until like maybe the next day, and we were like, oh yeah, that was good. And I went on a first date when I was a teenager, and we saw Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights. I know the film.
Yeah. Well, I was way off. It's because I haven't talked about the film since. I don't know how to pronounce it. And it was just so awkward. It's just such an awkward first date because we met on Bebo that we just didn't talk at all and then just got on our separate buses.
Oh, man. Those loves left on the kitchen table there. You didn't send your love of the day. Brutal.
Nah.
There you go. What a time Bebo was. Gosh.
Right? We should check in, as we always do. I feel like Bebo gets talked about almost as much as Pink Floyd on this show.
What's the Bebo check?
We should check in on how its comeback's going. We have, famously, this show has registered the name Billy Bob Thornton on Bebo.
Thornton?
We couldn't fit Thornton.
Oh my gosh. No. Well, you know what Billy Bob's going to do, Like, he's just not he's not going to just register Billy Bob, No. He's got to be Billy Bob Thornton. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Perfect for our episode about Us. Bebo.com. Its landing page is a red, empty chair alone in the street.
Terrifying.
The exact red of the jumpsuits.
Yeah, horrific. Why is it like this? It's like It says a new kind of community awaits, implying that you're just like going to sit in the middle of a street and wait for things to happen to you. This sounds awful. This is not the community that I want. Seems like some like awful social experiment.
This does seem like something the tethered in us would misunderstand and base their whole mission on.
Exactly.
Crikey.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Shall we get into this discussion, because there's a lot to talk about. I've done a full book report as I tend to do, but I'm ready to talk about this because there's a lot going on in this movie, and
so much.
Yeah, watching it twice in a row really helped me catch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, all right, let's do it. Speak to me. We got studio logos and all that stuff, all that good stuff. I like the like little monkey paw logo, by the way. Very cool claymation style. That's just neither here nor there. I just remembered that. I just liked it.
People screamed at that logo when we saw it after Get Out because it's stirring a teacup and hitting the sides, like the hypnosis and Get Out, and people were like, obviously had just got over that and were reminded of it. And was so furious.
Getting hit again. Damn.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we get like a little like opening scroll of information about there being abandoned tunnels underneath the United States, sewer systems and subway systems and things like that have just been left abandoned. I imagine this is true in most like English speaking and the foreign countries and all kinds of stuff. Like, I think this is everywhere. It's not just limited to the United States, but whatever. It's an interesting factoid and I guess good groundwork. It's just a strange little fact to throw at you at the start of the movie, which I liked as well.
Yeah. It's very American that there's so many tunnels, many of which serve no purpose.
Yeah.
But New York only has 2 water pipes, and they're both ancient.
Oh my god, that seems like
there's only 2 pipes that supply all the water to New York.
That doesn't seem like a good plan. Oh my gosh.
No.
Oh wow, who's making that movie?
Yeah.
We need a couple of plumbers to get onto that. I've got just the crew. Anyway. We get, we go into Breathe, and then we're watching a CRT TV establishing that we're in 1986, and there's a weather bulletin on screen about a coming storm, and this is also the first incidence of the number 11 being used a lot. 11 is a recurring motif in this movie. 11 and 11 especially. So yeah, like they use it a hell of a lot, and this is our first hit of that. And then that immediately cuts to an advertisement for the upcoming Hands Across America fundraising event, which will become important as well. I like all this like symbolism is all super important, and it's a heavily like layered and detailed film for all this stuff. You know?
Oh yeah. Jordan Peele said like everything is intentional in this film unless you didn't like it, and then it was unintentional.
Great quote.
Yeah.
So that's coming up, raising money for hunger and things like that. End poverty. And then we get an ad for Santa Cruz Beach and Boardwalk fun and festivities, and we cut from this advertisement to that. We see a family with just a mum and a dad and a child, a young girl, at this like fairly intense nighttime fun fair at Santa Cruz, California, reminding me a lot of the awful place from Big, where the where he got all big. Remember? Just don't go to fun fairs in the middle of the night in America. That's just not. I don't think you should do that. It seems like bad stuff happens. It's definitely like prime horror territory, right? Spooky fun fair at night.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. We got a dad playing like funfair games and winning prizes for his daughter, who seems like pretty despondent and not interested. And she's wearing a Hands Across America t-shirt, which I like as a little detail as well. And she gets gifted a Thriller t-shirt from this prize booth. Again, the prize is number 11. Which is interesting. But yeah, I don't really understand what the Thriller connection is. Maybe like zombies, I guess, or like just horror as a thing.
So I don't. We're gonna have to.
Yeah,
like
there'll be spoilers
film,
here.
We're gonna have to spoil it as we go.
Yeah,
because it's so rich what is ending up to happen.
Yeah.
And so I think it's mostly just to explain the kind of visual of the. Of what the tethered will dress like, the jumpsuit, the single glove. But yeah, there's a lot of talk about. You can tell I spent the next day just reading articles after I first saw this movie.
Well, that's all right.
But there was a lot of talk about how Michael Jackson was like the patron saint of duality. And
wow,
you can read that in good and bad ways.
Sure.
But I think also to get mostly I think for the wardrobe, and then also. To get the kind of spooky idea, you get the idea that she's very easily scared pretty quickly.
Right, yeah.
The idea that she'd be scared of her own t-shirt is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we go from here into On the Run, and the family's wandering around. The dad goes and plays whack-a-mole, and the mum wanders off to go to the bathroom. And the young girl is left to her own devices and just sort of wanders off because she's sick of watching her dad or whatever. And so she's wandering through the fun fair and wanders past a guy who's carrying a sign with a religious a Bible verse printed on it, Jeremiah 11:11, which I have in front of me if you want me to read it.
Of course. You're just getting it out of your hotel Bible, right?
Yeah. As next to my pistol in my bedside drawer, I will pull out the King James and read thus. Okay. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them, which they shall not be able to escape. And though they shall cry unto me, I will not hearken unto them. Which is... rough stuff, honestly. In context, in the Bible, this is God saying that he's decrying the actions of the tribe of Judah for following pagan religions and not following the path of God, and saying that there will be an evil brought upon them, like a retribution that is coming, and it's formless and like unexplained as well, which is interesting. He's also saying that it's like too late. In general, though, in context of the film, I think that this is like tapping into the fear of the unknown and how like society has gone too far already. Like it's too late to fix what has happened, I think is the idea from this verse. But yeah,
something great will come and change everything.
Yeah. Besides the like sweet palindrome again of the like 11:11 recurring here.
God, was there any greater high when you were a kid than looking at a digital clock and seeing 11:11?
Pretty good, yeah. Or like 1, 2, 3, 4, also strong.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember I wasted 11:11 on the 11th of November 2011. Like I just missed it, and then the second time it happened, I was asleep.
Brutal.
And yeah, I think I went to class the next day or that Monday. And so everyone was like, did you make a wish on 11:11? What did everyone do? And I was just like, oops.
Just having a snooze, waiting for the world to change. So she goes down past this guy and into a Hall of Mirrors ride, which is themed around Native American Vision Quest and is titled Find Yourself, which is... prophetic and cool. And there's a big old spooky owl in here coming out of the wall, which is just like a fun comedic moment. I love this little spooky boy.
Yeah, I feel like that's the only jump scare in this film as well, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he comes out of nowhere and makes a loud sound. I guess that counts, yeah. And yeah, so she gets lost in this mirror maze, and the power cuts out all of a sudden, and she's like kind of freaked out trying to find the exit. And yeah, we get the crash sound right as the power winks out, which is nice and on the run. And so she's like looking around in silence, and then the clocks go off when she starts to whistle. I believe she's whistling Itsy Bitsy Spider. And she hears an echoing whistle in reply to hers, which is upsetting. And yeah, she like approaches or like backs up to a reflection which is facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that's not good. And then, yeah, we see her turn around to look and her eyes widen, and then we get a cut to the opening titles of this movie, which are really strange until you find out what's going on. Like, this makes no sense, this cut, and you're like, what? It's a slow zoom out from a rabbit who's just chilling in a cage, and then we see that there's a wall of rabbits chilling in cages in a strange, like, classroom style setup. And you're like, what the fuck is this? I don't understand. There's like weird chanting that's happening in the soundtrack that we don't get to hear. But yeah, this is the weird bit for the start of this movie. I was like, what is going on?
It is syncing quite well with those like dread drums.
Yeah, the opening
Us by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, the time intro coming in, working real well. Not a bad sync.
Yeah. Did you notice it's 11 by 11 rows as well? Like 11 columns of rabbits and 11 rows?
I did not notice that, but that rules. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So smart.
And Bunny's ears look like little 11s? That's
yeah.
Fresh Gareth one.
No, I like it. And yeah, we cut to present day in the future. Here we go. And we got a family going on holiday. Again, and it's the girl from earlier who has grown up into Adelaide Addie Wilson, and the Wilson family here. And the rest of the family is all coming along. They've got husband Gabe, or Gabriel, I guess, and her daughter Zora and her son Jason, who are out here. And yeah, they're going to Santa Cruz for the holidays because they've got a holiday house out here, presumably from when Adelaide's family were out here previously, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, they're just hanging out. They arrive and then hang out at the dinner table, and we get some like fairly extraneous info about the family. The daughter is a track star in the making. She's like a runner, but doesn't really want to continue with it, is just sort of engrossed in her phone all the time and not really interested in anything. And the Jason is wanting to do like a magic trick with a strange little spark thing. Like he strikes this little thing and it makes sparks appear, but he can't get it to work. And he's also like swearing in front of his parents and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, he makes a really interesting comment just in the dialogue of the film where he says when he gets the finger pointed at him for swearing, he says, if you're pointing a finger, there are 3 fingers pointing back at yourself, which I think is like the director talking about the themes of the movie, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like the...
Yeah, I can't like objectively hear that saying because it just brings me back to a principal saying it when I was in intermediate school to like everyone, and all our tiny minds just exploded.
He's like,
whoa, he's scolding us, but he's so smart.
He knows about fingers. He's so clever. Yeah. I never noticed it.
And then they follow this with some blatant hitchhiker's thumb erasure by saying that your thumb doesn't point back at you. But I mean, I'll have you know that my scary horror movie thumb is pointing right back at me when I point.
That's impressive.
Ugh.
Mine like points. Oh, I guess if I'm like pointing, no, it's like pointing at the sky more so than anything else.
Yeah, I can't get my thumb to point straight up. It either has to point all the way back at me, shaming me as I point, Or I have to put it forward, like Bill Clinton giving a thumbs up.
Oh no. There's no way you win out of that scenario.
Nah.
So we get great gig perfectly starting up as we go into a flashback of young Eddie who is post this traumatic experience in the mirror maze and isn't speaking at all. And her parents are really worried about her and have taken her to a child psychologist. And we get this scene playing out as a young child Eddie is watching through a mirror, which is, again, great. Just good set design and everything. And another fun little detail here is that she is perfectly arranging the animals in a big sand pit into a perfect line.
Yes.
Which is great. And yeah, we get the chorus of Great Gig coming in, the singers coming in when the dad tries to show some affection to her, but she gives basically nothing back. It's quite heartbreaking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We cut back to the present, and Gabriel is trying to encourage Eddie to go out to the beach, but she is she hasn't told him about this horrible thing that happened in her past, and is saying, he's saying that it's a waste of this nice holiday house that they have if they never go to the beach or the attractions of the boardwalk, but she doesn't want to go because of that experience there, but can't really justify it without explaining it. And so eventually she agrees and they'll go as a family. And then we get a couple of minor other things where the sister and brother are messing with each other. Jason wears this little werewolf mask, I guess. He looks kind of like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
But he hides in a little cupboard and freaks out Zora before getting locked in a cupboard himself, a different cupboard, which he had jammed a little ambulance into. Again, the ambulance like tied in from here.
Oh my gosh.
So smart. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
But yeah. Meanwhile, in the basement, Addie is again reminiscing about her childhood. She sees like a bar and enormous mirror for practicing ballet down here.
Yeah.
Because she was a dancer growing up, and I guess into adulthood as well. I think that was what her profession was. But anyway, before becoming a mum, maybe. And also, Gabe has bought a terrible, shitty boat, like just a outboard motor on the back of a piece of metal called the Crawdaddy, which is such a great name. Both boats in this movie have hilarious names.
What's the other boat?
It's called the Yacht with yacht
Oh, yes, I didn't know that.
in the middle, which is hilarious. There's a lot of like humor injected into this movie, which I really appreciated. Just cuts through the tension right when you need it. It's usually in dialogue, but then there's a lot of like minor visual ones as well. It helped me.
And kind of once you realize what once you kind of realize what we kind of see, like why the baddies look like this and what their plan is, there is like a humor in that as well, like a dark, that's, we'll get to it, but it's, there's a reason 25-year-old Gareth would watch these sketches eating his dinner and then go for a walk. The man knows comedy.
He knows what he's doing, all right? Even then.
Jordan Peele has said, but I couldn't find this quote again.
Okay.
I'm sure I read it. He said that the boat isn't a metaphor. He just wanted the family to have a boat. But then someone did point out that a crawdaddy is a type of like crustacean that can essentially clone itself.
Wow.
So it's like, you just couldn't help yourself, mate.
Clever. Love it. Yeah. So, I do like that he's got this boat and we see this as money starts up and we're getting into they're heading down to the beach to meet a family who is obsessed with money and status. Who I can't remember their last name, but we're going down there at the moment. But we've got a few other things to cover off. Before they arrive at the beach, there's some kind of like crime scene with the ambulance on the side of the road where an old man is being wheeled into an ambulance after being what looks like he was brutally attacked by something. He's like scarred up and bloody. And I don't know if you can tell from here, but it is the guy from the who was holding the Bible verse sign from the start of the movie, same guy who's being wheeled in. I don't know if you can. I think it does linger on him, and you can probably put it together if you like think about it at this stage, but I don't know. Either way, he's getting wheeled in.
It's definitely not a first watch thing you'll realize.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, that sounded pretentious, but no, it's not.
That's fair, So
who's watching a film and figuring that out?
Yeah. We get to the beach and we catch up with some fairly fun characters, Josh and Kitty, as played by Tim Heidecker and Elizabeth Moss, who are both just having the best fucking time in this movie. It is so fun watching these guys just like be really unhinged later on in the film. Oh, they are loving it. But anyway, they are loving these roles too. Their beach going personas here. And they have twin daughters as well, Becca and Lindsay, who have well chosen names. And they're just like basically like a vapid rich family. We get a couple of like minor things. Josh has like a nicer boat than Gabe and is like flexing that. And
he's got the flare gun.
The
ultimate flex.
Kitty is just like drinking rosé, like thousands of glasses of it, and has gotten a facelift to appear younger. So, she's, I don't know. I think like the movie isn't like saying that these things are like reprehensible. It's saying that they are trivial and like not worth obsessing over to the degree that these characters do, I think is the idea.
I don't even think there's that much judgment. I think they're just like, I don't know, because the movie's, I guess, sort of, it's about privilege.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like, I think a weaker movie would have made these guys way worse and way more, like, way more one-dimensional and maybe had the other characters kind of judge them. But everyone's, they're definitely like, seem too mean.
Yeah, they seem like real people. Like, they don't seem like awful to be around or whatever, They aren't like caricatures. But
I'll tell you though, watching this and being in a lockdown, I just miss going to the beach and hanging out with people I don't like. Like,
that is fair.
I'm stuck here hanging out with people I do like, that I live with. It's just like, give me a jerk.
Just give me sand between my toes out on the beach. Oh my gosh. I can't knock it, Gareth. As someone who has the capability to go to the beach, I'm flexing on you like Tim Heidecker right now. I did go to the beach this weekend. I'm not going to lie.
What?
Sorry.
Good on you. It's barely even beach weather.
It was quite nice. It was a nice time, and it was I'm sorry. I don't want to.
That's all right.
I don't want to be inflicted with a punishment from God for doing this, but anyway, the daughters are also like, I guess, nasty to Jason here by saying that he's like childish and playing with toys, not grown up, and they also say that Zora is like saying that she's dumb for not wanting to go in the water and she just wants to like hang out on land. We also see that the Hall of Mirrors in the background here on the beach at the waterfront has been rebranded over time to depict a wizard rather than a Native American, which is a good call, but a great touch that like they realized probably not okay. But it still has the creepy owl because that's a familiar of a wizard. So it's fine. We go into Us and Them and we get like a kind of misdirect where we think Jason is going to wander off towards this Hall of Mirrors, but he just goes to the bathroom and then emerges and sees a very strange sight. There's a guy standing with arms outstretched in the middle of the beach, facing away from camera, in like a big overcoat, and you can see like a little hint of the red jumpsuit underneath. It's not like overt here, which is interesting. But he also has blood dripping down his hand, and we don't see his face or anything like that. And it's not clear what's going on. It's just a creepy scene. And at this point, it's Addie realizes that Jason is missing and like runs off to find him, and then like massively overreacts that he had wandered off here at the beach, like panicked that he was going to get like captured or whatever. Also, minor note, there's a thing about coincidences in this movie, like things lining up too well. This movie like sort of walks the line between being like a not at all supernatural thing and sometimes a supernatural thing. Like it talks about like the soul and things like that being real, and these spooky coincidences happening as sort of a mystical element, but none of that's really explained. It's just like a cool spooky thing that happens. Like
like they could all just be coincidences. Yeah. And also the tethered arising.
Yeah.
But like it could also be,
it's like a
the
symbol.
balance has been thrown off, so the universe is trying to correct itself with more balance.
Maybe, yeah.
Or something cool like that.
Yeah, I think that's like what the movie's trying to say. It's trying to like have this be a harbinger of the tethered, right? Like a frisbee lands perfectly on the spot of a picnic blanket here, and all the 11/11 symbolism and things like that as well. But anyway,
the bloody frisbee's red as well, and it covers up the thing it's replacing.
Yeah, pretty good.
Ugh. Yeah.
But yeah, we get the family get taken home and get tucked up into bed. The kids do, and there's a bit of discussion about how she was worried about Jason getting taken away, and Jason's done a terrifying drawing of what he saw on the beach that never comes up again. It's just like another spooky thing, but I do like it.
I love that he just like, she's like, "Who's this?" and he just shrugs like,
He does that a lot actually, and that like they try and it's like a recurring thing for Jason's character where he just like shrugs off whatever situation is happening by just going like, I don't know. Which is, it's interesting for a horror movie character to act that way. But yeah, Addie tells Gabe that she wants to leave early. She's really worried about what's been going on, about all these coincidences that are happening. And she says she doesn't feel like herself, as we go into Any Color You Like. And then, she finally tells Gabe about her childhood experience here. And I feel like this is the catalyst for the rest of the movie kicking off. It's like important that she does say here and like let's slip this piece. She recounts the story of seeing a girl who looked exactly like her in the Hall of Mirrors, and being like terrified out of her mind. And she's worried that that same girl is out there and coming for her. Scary.
Yeah.
And then they're talking about that, and they're like, "Well, it's fine. I would be able to knock you out if need be," which is such a weird thing to say for a husband. But anyway, and it's at this point that the horror starts. The power cuts to the house, and Jason very quickly appears in the doorway, saying that there is a strange family standing in the driveway, and. Indeed, there is. There is 4 people, a family, holding hands and just standing at the top of the driveway facing us. And it's very upsetting.
I just love any horror movie that announces its big event that chill. Like, as a kid, like, hey, there's a family in the driveway. Or I feel like there's a lot more examples, but I'm trapped only on Scary Movie 3 going, the TV's leaking.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, no, like it doesn't, because that is like an appropriate reaction. It's just like, oh yeah, there's some like weird people in the driveway. It's not like immediately horrifying. It's just strange and unusual and worth reporting to your parents.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, Gabe.
It's a Pink Floyd tip: is tell your parents if there's a family outside.
Yeah, they probably want to know. They might know more.
Yeah.
But yeah, to tell your parents. That's where we've come to. Whether like we're in 1986 PSA here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Even if you don't live with them, just tell them.
Yeah. Just give them a call. Hey, there's a family in my driveway. What should I do? Yeah. So Gabe goes out there to like encourage them to leave as we go into brain damage, and they just sort of stand there. Nothing really happens. Addie is very panicked and calls 911, but they kind of brush it off as nothing unusual. Like nothing's actually happened here. It's like there's a family in the driveway. Like that isn't worth calling emergency services about. Goodbye. We do brain damage and Pink Floyd are aware of what is going on though, because they sing out that the lunatics are on the grass and then in my home. You know, can't get much more on the nose than that. And yeah, Gabe grabs a baseball bat and like tries again to get them to leave. And it's at this point that this scary family springs into action, just like heading off in 4 different directions, which is scary in of itself. Like in different ways as well. Like the girl just runs off, the young boy starts scuttling like a crab into the undergrowth. And the big guy just starts shuffling forward zombie like. It's like ugh. And yeah, we get into Eclipse, and they are breaking into the house. The dad is trying to like knock the door in, and then the mum of the family just unlocks the door with the hidden key that's in the rock outside that you got from Sky Mall. You know the one. And then the big dad guy forces his way in and like steals the bat in the process, which is impressive, just through a like half closed door, and then like gives Gabe's leg a big old smack with the baseball bat, and then right on the like dark side of the moon, the family are all coming into the house, and then we go into like absolute silence. The
dark side of them.
Coming in, and they the Wilson family get cornered into sitting on the couch, and their counterparts, as we find out, stand in front of them. They are perfect doppelgängers of the family members, except twisted versions. As we will come to find out.
And it's so good because we're starting our like doppelganger of the first play of the album.
Yeah. And we sure are.
Like I haven't been like in love with the syncs, but I'm like, that's just our side of the world might not have been in sync. Maybe these tethered, they're actually the ones who sync with Pink Floyd.
Maybe. This point, like we haven't had too many, but yes, perhaps more. Yes. So this from here on, this movie is difficult to write notes on, and that there are copies of characters. Whenever I refer to these doppelgangers, I tend to say the copy of the character. So like copy of Addie, for example, here.
Oh, did you not notice?
They do have names.
I mean, in the credits, they're all named, even the ones you don't see.
Yeah. It is great. It is a nice touch. They do all have names. It's just that I didn't catch most of them in my notes.
That's fair.
Presented in the credits is awesome because they have where the characters play, the actors play 2 separate characters. The doppelganger is written in red, which is great. Like that's just a good touch.
What do you reckon your tethered's name would be?
I don't want to think about that, Gareth.
Old timey. You don't want to?
No.
That's fair.
Probably Alejandro, what I named my horrific skeleton companion, honestly, but
Yeah.
he'll come alive.
I love drip feeding the skeleton news to our listeners as
Yeah,
well.
I think that's the first time we've said his name, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, man?
I don't know. I was trying to think of a fun, like, what's your tethered name generator? And the best I got is like, what's your granddad's middle name?
Oh,
so mine
God.
would be Edwin.
Russell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that works, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm scared of Russell now. Gosh.
Russell's a great spooky name because it implies, a scary sound. Rustling.
Yeah. Of bushes.
Yeah.
Boogie boogie.
And do you think you could beat your tethered if they came?
Hell no. Absolutely
No,
not. They have been planning for years to kill me. I'm screwed. Like, I am woefully underprotected. Like, they will get me immediately. I'll go down so fast. Yeah.
Same,
what about you?
Even if I tried to get fit, it'll be down there getting fit as well, like following everything I do.
It does everything that you do, but it also has the advantage of knowing that this conflict is coming. Like,
yeah.
Like, that sucks. That is a great antagonist.
Also, it really comes down to if the amount of protein in meat has been exaggerated by big corporates or not.
Yeah.
Because, like, I obviously to you, I haven't eaten meat in like 10 years. Meanwhile, my tethered will be down there. Every time I'm eating a little cake, he's just eating a rabbit. So he might be swole off his sweet rabbit protein.
I don't know. It's unclear. Yeah, that's one of the like minor gripes I have with this film is that the rabbit thing is super weird. But anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Those.
Yeah. Yes. So this copy tells a story about a young girl and a shadow that are connected or tethered together. And this is a true story, baby. And they two live a mirrored life where the girl enjoys happiness and all the joys of the earth are above ground. And meanwhile, underground, the shadow lives a terrible, tortured existence. Like a cruel, like flip side of what is happening above ground. She describes the other doppelgängers here. Like Gabe's counterpart is this huge, brutish, zombie-like man. Zora's counterpart is like a terrifying, smiling, like sadist, I guess, is her thing. And Jason has like a fire-loving gremlin boy with like a sock mask instead of a like wolf mask. Yeah.
I love how much Adelaide's tethered Red seems to hate her tethered husband.
Oh yeah,
like she's like the girl got to marry the prince, whereas her shadow married Abraham. And she just like write a sitcom about those two, honestly.
Yeah. Oh no,
Abraham.
It is very like parts of the story I have omitted for being perhaps too dark. Like like the thing with like being forced into a relationship because your counterpart above ground and this like twisted relationship that they have does so. That's so dark. Like having to do all these things because like someone above you is controlling you puppet master style. Like that is horrifying.
Scariest. One of the scariest parts of this film. And like, I mean, during my little walk today, I thought about it and like, let's say I got on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
These guys can't get on planes because we see them like, if they're trying to use, like, if someone's trying to use any kind of machinery, they just mime it.
They just act it out,
if I like flew somewhere, then this poor tethered would just have to walk it and then eventually catch up with me.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, or just like, I don't know, stay where I was unless I've been away too long and then start walking it.
Yeah. It's not clear how it works, but, you don't want to
No.
think too much about it, I guess.
No, it's interesting because it invites you too. It's like,
Yeah.
I think it does a really good job of just telling enough of the story
Yeah.
that you're satisfied with the movie. It doesn't feel like a plot hole. That like,
No.
how did the tethered know like to attack in Santa Cruz?
Sure.
It's probably it just kind of like
It's just how it goes,
I don't know. There's got to be a good metaphor somewhere for it. Like you're seeing just enough.
Yeah.
No, that sounds so creepy. Don't use that metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Where are you from? What's a metaphor?
What is a
I think
metaphor?
I've just finally broken on this podcast.
Oh, no.
77 episodes in.
Oh, well. It's all right.
77, though, looks like 11.
Oh, yeah, true. Another
He saved it.
dark mirror, a black mirror. Yeah, so it's a very awful, horrific story that gets told, and it's well delivered in this, like, we can't hear it on this playthrough, but I did in my clean one. She's got this raspy, like, choked voice that she delivers all her dialogue in her doppelganger form, as if she like hasn't spoken for years or something. It's horrible. Like it makes it all the worse. But yeah. Anyway, this story culminates in the Shadow's realization that they were being tested by God, and that their time would soon come. Gabe interrupts the end of the story, asking like, wanting to like bargain with them, and like, I'll give you the boat, I'll give you the all my money or whatever. We'll go to an ADM. Goes nowhere. That's not what they're here for. And he asked them who they are, and they say, "We're Americans," which is such a good line. It's
so good,
so evocative.
Yeah. Also, Pink Floyd, the lyric just before she says "We're Americans." Is "Get your passports ready."
Hey, nice. But yeah, so Addie is instructed to handcuff herself to the table here, and does so reluctantly. And then the family members are split off from the group to be tormented and attacked by their doubles, basically. Yeah, Gabe is dragged outside over broken glass, over the crash sound, which I hated. I hate anything to do with glass. Ugh.
Yeah.
Zora runs out on the street being pursued by her double, like in a foot race, which works for her, as all the clocks are going off. And Gabe is in his confrontation. He like is just sort of edging away from this like huge man and trying to speak to him, but he can only like bark, like shout at him. He doesn't know any words or anything. He just sort of screams at him. He gets knocked out and taken away to God knows where. We'll find out in a bit. Jason is instructed to go and play with his double, and Eddie like gives him a hint to show him one of his tricks, which is like a Home Alone style trap thing. And yeah, this leads the two boys to hide in a closet, which we've seen Jason do before. It's cool that like everyone is doing their thing, basically, except I guess for Gabe, who just sort of gets beaten up. But they hide in the closet, and Jason sees that his double like mirrors his movements. When he's not acting independently, he will mirror Jason's movements like exactly, and is obsessed with fire, and so enjoys this little spark magic toy thing. It's not clear why the obsession with fire comes through for this character, but I think it's just tied to this magic trick, but I don't really know.
I think so, yeah, because the magic trick's supposed to make a little flame, I think.
Yeah, make a little spark.
And it's just incredibly heartbreaking that every time it failed for Jason, it worked on his tethered.
Yeah.
And that's why he's like,
That's why he's fucked up. Yeah, because he lifts up his mask as part of this mirroring exercise and reveals, like a horribly burned lower half of his face, because he was doing these sparks like very close to his own face, and it never worked. But yeah, for the mirror, it always did, and he lit his face on fire multiple times. Horrible. Pink Floyd is singing "You Missed the Starting Gun" as we see Zora's double has been waiting to pursue on foot, and then immediately starts her foot race because she missed the starting gun for this race, but is still quietly confident. Anyway, she catches up incredibly quickly, like appearing from behind a car, like very spooky. And Zora narrowly avoids getting killed and stabbed. I haven't mentioned, all these doppelgangers carry scissors, like enormous metal scissors as a recurring motif. They also all have like biker gloves on one hand. I don't know what that's about.
Like a one leather glove and big red jumpsuits.
Yeah, and scissors.
Does get explained, but I'm
okay.
Holding that explanation is so rich that it's going to be a little dessert.
All right, you hit me up with that at the end because I don't know what that's about, so I'm very excited.
No.
But yeah, she avoids getting killed because this guy like comes out to see what the fuck's going on with his car, and he just gets brutally killed. It's like Achilles tendon sliced. It's rough. For no fault of his own. Presumably his double's out there somewhere, just like,
his double turns up and it's like,
oh man,
I had one job.
Eddie asks what it is that the doubles want, and she only gets, "We want to take our time," basically, is what the double says in response. And she pushes her head against this table, which is made of glass, so we see her face reflected in it, and then it starts cracking. And this day of reckoning that is happening is dubbed the untethering. At least the tethered have strong branding. I'm going to give them that one.
Oh, heck yeah. The meetings they must have had.
They've been planning this a while, so it does make sense. They've been workshopping it for literally years.
The thing is, we even see their mood board later.
Yeah, it's so good. So Gabe is in the back of his boat, trapped in a garbage bag, about to be, I guess, tossed overboard to drown. But a funny moment where the boat engine cuts out like it did earlier, and the double just has to smack it very like slow and rigidly to try and get it started again, like we saw earlier. It's just the good, like, there's just these little comedy bits in here that keep you from getting too spooked, he knocks the double, he escapes the bag and knocks his double into the water, but he falls in himself, so we sort of get like a Jaws kind of scenario here, where you're out in the open water and this boat's just taking off by itself as well. He manages to get back up onto the boat and then shreds his double in the propeller of the boat's engine, which is rough stuff. But, that's how you do it. You got to take care of it. This happens also like right at the end of the track, which I was a big fan of. Cutting back to Jason, he gets the spark of his magic trick to finally work. And this distracts and shocks the double so much, it lets him lock the double inside, like he was locked inside at the start of the film, or earlier in the film.
During the same song as well.
Yeah, nice. Another double. Eddie's double goes to find and free herself after she so Eddie's double goes to free Jason's double basically, and she uses this chance to escape using a fire poker, like leveraging her way out of this handcuff situation. Fire poker is the weapon of choice for this movie, apparently. Gets a hell of a lot of use, has more options come up later, but like, fire poker is locked and loaded for Eddie. This is her choice, fair enough. Fair play.
Yeah, that's the only way to beat scissors in rock, paper, scissors.
I guess
It's a
so.
Surprise
Fire poker. You stick one arm out very far in front of you and go fire poker. And everyone's like, well, I can't beat that, I guess.
Yeah.
Got me. Yeah. The double sort of gets distracted and starts wandering around the house. We see her like slice off the head of a toy rabbit that belonged to Eddie. I don't really understand why this is going on. It's just like more creepiness.
Yeah, I guess jealousy.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
Oh, you got to have soft rabbits.
Yeah, I had spiky, horrible, real rabbits or something. I don't know. But the family, the Wilson family, the good family, reunite outside the house. They all come together after escaping their doppelgängers, and then run down to the dock and escape on the family boat. Thank goodness they get away, and that's the end of the film. No, we go from here. We get into money yet again as we see Kitty and Josh's house. Who are just sort of milling about, bickering with one another, hanging out. We get what is the song they put on here? Good Vibrations, which is the soundtrack of this movie is lit. By the way, it's really good.
Oh yeah, Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
No,
oh my god, Dark Side of the Moon. Have you heard this album? It's crazy. But yeah, they're just sort of messing around with each other because Kitty thinks she sees something outside. And Josh turns it into a joke. And then we cut to outside the house looking in through the windows. And we see like that one shot in the Bling Ring.
Yeah, exactly.
And we get all these guys get summarily executed by their doubles very quickly. And like the doubles even stand in the same places that the people were standing in before, which is a nice touch. Like they take their spots in the scene. It's weird having Pink Floyd Money instead of Good Vibrations lyrics.
Yeah, seeing the lyrics
screen.
appear as subtitles and like it being completely out.
Always weird. So Kitty is still alive and tries to crawl along the floor, asks the Siri equivalent, like a little robot thing, to call the police, but it just, in a quirk of fate, switches the music to Fuck the Police by NWA.
Which again, very weird to see the lyrics of when Pink Floyd Money is playing.
Yeah, because this just plays over the following scene, the entirety of this track, which is pretty sick in the actual movie. Seeing the stuff playing with Fuck the Police playing in the background, I was like, man, this is cool. This is kind of
our
wild.
second movie as well with Fuck the Police and during the second Pink Floyd playthrough.
Yeah.
The first being 21 Jump Street. This is also our second movie where a dad dabs in the first 20 minutes after Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Man, I was hoping you were going to say 21 Jump Street again.
That movie, pre-dabbing.
All right, there you go. Yeah. That's
how I rule cinema. There's the pre and post dab era.
Yes. Dabbing dad era. So the Wilsons rock up to this house to try and find some shelter, but when Eddie goes to investigate, she's pulled inside by all these doubles, and the Josh double comes down to have a scrap against Gabe. I love what Tim Heidecker is doing here. He's being like overly creepy, but also like this goofy dad at the same time. Yeah. Which is hysterical acting. Like he is in his element.
It is perfect Heidecker. Like earlier he does the when he's about to kill Elizabeth Moss's Kitty, real character. Yeah. He does that amazing, like, reaches out his hand and then pulls it back to wipe his hair.
Oh, so clean. Oh,
so good.
My favorite bit of this fight, I'm just going to cover it all off here because they end up fighting on the boat with the flare gun and all that, lighting it spookily. But I just love when he gets on the boat and puts his hands on his hips and looks around like, like just classic dad pose. So funny. Oh my god.
It's so good. And it's like what you were saying, it's a joke that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
Because it's a mirror.
Tethered has just been, he's just been copying dorky old Tim Heidecker.
Yeah, like this is just who he is. He's doing this, like, he's this twisted version of the same guy. So, of course, he acts this way. It's very funny.
That would probably kill me. The shame of seeing my twisted version do what I do will kill me before my swole off his rabbit meat self kills me.
Yeah. That's
just seeing his stupid little dances he does when he thinks no one's around.
Oh, damn! Yeah, the true horror is being perceived.
There
we go. That's the truth of us.
Yeah,
but So while this is happening, we get into Us and Them. The song, not this part of the movie. Where the kids are coming in to save the day over fuck the police. So they are out here like brutally murdering these doubles with NWA playing in the background. They kill Zora kills both twins with a golf club. Just starts like hacking away at one of them, which is rough. Eddie is once again fallen victim to getting caught in handcuffs in a horror movie and is tied to a bed. And the kitty double is like threatening to slice her face with scissors, but is more distracted with her own reflection and is more obsessed with herself than anyone else. And that's like the victim and that's what I think is happening in this scene. Because she goes over to the mirror and slices her own face, like mirroring the plastic surgery that her counterpart had. Like we see that earlier that she has scars on her own face from when this happened.
With some like poor tethered having to copy a plastic surgeon. Yeah.
It's no good. But she's just like adjusting.
Imagine our poor tethered right now. Yours is underneath Christchurch talking alone. Mine's underneath Auckland talking alone because they don't have the internet.
Exactly, yeah. They're just talking to nobody. There you go.
Oh, and you, poor listener, are just, your tethered's on a fake bus. Copying you listening to us. Oh.
I mean, that seems like you're getting the best end of the deal there. As is usually the case on the show. Man. But yeah, so she...
Hey, do something nice for your tethered today, listeners.
Yeah, just like have a wee... I don't know, what would be nice? Just to have a sleep?
Yeah.
There's not really...
Yeah, honestly, have a sleep.
There's like, everything's like a sick and twisted version, down there. Like, there's nothing really that you can do that would be good. But anyway... Anyway.
Oh, have a sleep.
Have a wee sleep. Yes. Anyway, the fight in the boat happens. Gabe comes out the victor. Zora runs in to save her mum, but gets like cornered and trapped on the bed. But luckily, Jason comes in and smashes the kitty double with like a crystal sculpture thing. Yeah. Like a piece of bougie art or something, which is good.
I was real worried when he picked it up. Like, I'd forgotten the ins and outs of the scene. I was real worried it was just going to be weak and ineffective, like it was just fake art or something.
It's just plastic and does nothing.
Yeah.
Could well have been.
Shouldn't have doubted Kitty and Josh, though. Yeah.
They get authentic crystals. So we go into Any Colour with the family being safe for the moment in this fucked up scene. They're just sort of still in the house. They were littered with dead bodies. But not wanting to move, trying to get in contact with the emergency services, but they're of course run off their feet. They can't get through. They've been put on hold, and they tune into the TV. And we, instead of watching the TV for the start of this, we watch their reactions to the TV, which I just think is good filmmaking. We hear about that doubles are emerging from underground tunnels across the entirety of the United States and brutally killing their counterparts. And then we do have to cut to a visual because we're about to see what they are up to after they have achieved this. We see the tethered gathering together and in huge numbers and linking their arms to form a giant chain that is stretching like as far as we can see for the moment. Wild. Yeah. So
Gabe even says like this must take a shitload of coordination.
Yeah, right. How are they doing this? Yeah. And it's like I think he describes it as some kind of like sick performance art later on.
Yeah.
Which is very funny. But yeah. Eddie wants to run away to Mexico, and Gabe's like, no, we're safe here. We should stay here. And then she like says, you don't get to make the decisions anymore. She like takes control of the family unit here, just as their double has taken control of that family and is like leading them. As we get into brain damage yet again, they try to get away in that family's car, Kitty and Josh's car. But Eddie forgets the keys and this is the second time she's forgotten the keys in a classic horror movie trope. I forgot my bloody keys.
And of course, Get Out, famously, where are those keys, baby?
Where are those keys?
Tell me you got those keys. And Jordan Peele, obviously, when he started going solo, everyone was like,
he
where's
forgot
that
his keys. Exactly. He's just directing it to the audience. It's like, mate, I know that I forgot the keys, but, sometimes it'll work out. I don't know. Give me a chance. So she has to go in and finish off a double of one of the twins who isn't quite dead, who's like woken up, and like they wrestle on the ground, and she finally kills her with, I think, the poker again. And then
this tethered's like sneaking around to another lunatic is in the hole, lunatics are in my home.
Exactly, yeah. Perfect. Yeah. As she's doing this, like Jason comes in and overhears her because she lets out some pretty guttural like grunts and has a wee like laugh to herself after killing this, which is weird. You're like, that ain't good. And Jason's like, that ain't good. And and then they head off to the car. Zora declares herself the safest to drive because she quotes her KDR, which I like a lot. Her kill count. She's got the highest kill count in the family. Hilarious. She's got sound logic though. Her mum is handcuffed and her dad has a damaged leg. So she's like, even though she's learning to drive, she is probably the best candidate to be driving. So, as they move to get away, the Zora double appears, having run all the way here. Presumably they live quite far away. They had to take a boat to get here. But no, she's run around the coastline and gotten here. Wild. She jumps onto the car to attack them and try and break through the glass with her scissors, but is thrown and impaled on a tree branch with some nifty driving. Eddie gets out of the car and comforts the double as it dies as well, like shushes it and calms it as we get into Eclipse, giving it a bit of empathy, which is interesting. As we get into our third playthrough, over the silence between plays, day dawns. I love it when a horror movie goes into the day. It makes it all the scarier. It's
honestly, it's that time jump and when it goes like 5 years later, those are the time jumps that just get me.
We see that the residents of Santa Cruz are littering the ground outside, conveniently outside their homes, so that we can see that they've all been killed. There's just bodies everywhere, and we are driving along, and they come across the Wilson's family sedan. Their car is on fire in the middle of the road. And they're like, what the fuck is this? And pull to a stop, and then hear some weird rustling or something under the car. And it's Jason's double who has emerged out from underneath the car. And right on the screams to speak to me, he appears into frame. And we go into breathe, and he starts clicking his fingers like Jason did earlier to a song in a car. I don't think I covered that earlier, but anyway, this is another double mirror thing. He's clicking his fingers along with a rhythm. Doesn't really fit breathe, but that's okay. Anyway, so Eddie tries to get out of the car and like figure out what is going on. Sort of mimicking what she was doing with Jason in that earlier scene, like holding out her hand to him. And Jason realizes that this is a trap, and tells everyone to get out of the car. And he's right on the money. I think this is like another duality thing where he's like understanding how his double thinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he instructs everyone to get out of the car. And yes, there is a line of gasoline to the car, from the burning car to theirs, and it's been set to explode, basically, with the light of the match. And it doesn't happen. We don't get an explosion. But because Jason tricks his double into mirroring his actions again. He knows that he does this, and so he, arms outstretched, like Christ-like, walks backwards, staring at his double, watching him do the same as the double backs slowly into the fire that it had lit and dies, which is awful. It's not a great fit for Breathe, but it would be a great fit for Wish You Were Here. Just throwing that one out there. Anyway, as part of this like gambit, Jason gets grabbed and taken away by Eddie's double and whisked away somewhere. We don't know where. And Eddie runs off in pursuit. She is desperately chasing down Jason as she did on the beach earlier. As we get Pink Floyd singing Race Towards an Early Grave at the end of Breathe. Nice. Yeah. It's at this point that we see the chain as well of doubles holding hands going all the way out to the sea. And we see that the weird guy we saw earlier is part of this chain. It's just that he was there first and waiting for the others to arrive, which is such a sweet, like, Chekhov's gun going off, like explaining exactly what was going on with this guy. And yeah, it's at this point that we see that it's the double of the man who was attacked earlier, the sign carrier from the fun fair. And he has, instead of holding a sign, he just has the numbers 1111 carved into his forehead. Which is fucked. But yeah, so yeah, he's part of this huge chain, which is just such a good visual. It's so wild. Anyway, Addie goes down into the mirror maze because she knows exactly where to go, and bashes that creepy owl. Because fuck that guy. Fuck that owl.
He's had 30 years of it too good, that owl.
Yeah, he's been having it too good for too long, owl. Coming for you with a fire poker, you bastard. And yeah, we see her remembering back to that horrible time, and then a white rabbit appears from a little hole, like Alice in Wonderland call out, I think. And yeah, she follows it down the rabbit hole, down underground and into a abandoned subway station. We do get the crash sound here, which didn't sync for me for anything. But we do get the reveal of an escalator, a fully lit escalator going down right on the clocks coming in, which is very dramatic and works for me. Yeah.
And it's nice that we were back in the mirror room for On the Run.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one. Yes, so we emerge out into a very strange beige facility, like a featureless area where like it looks kind of like a subway station. There are like little benches and things around where rabbits are running and hopping all around the floor here. We see that this is where the weird room from the opening title was, the classroom with all the cages, with all the bunnies now freed and roaming the halls, having a grand time down here.
Yeah, this is a like lighthearted comedy for these bunnies. This is a their favorite movie.
Bunny Zone now. When the tethered left, it's now the time of the rabbit down here. It's like a really fucked up Watership Down sequel happening. Even more fucked up than the real Watership Down. Anyway. Meanwhile, while this is happening, we see Gabe and Zora are hanging out in an abandoned ambulance again that call forward. I think presumably the same one that guy who was attacked was carted off in.
It probably didn't get very far.
No. As they wait for Eddie to return. Eddie comes down and confronts her double, who is standing in this classroom-type room with all the cages. There's a large chalkboard in front of her with a chain of stick figures drawn on it, all holding hands in a long line. And there are bloody handprints covering the walls surrounding this, which is, man, it's like real intense. And she gives a monologue of explaining what has happened here, what has taken place, and while she is making a small recreation of the family of doppelgängers all holding hands, like a paper doll out of red crepe paper, of 4 characters linking arms, which is real nice. She says that the doubles are humans, just like the humans that created them, and it's all laid out here. Basically, this was a government experiment that was created in an attempt to control the actions of the people on the surface. We previously got like a minor like conspiracy theory kind of nod with like fluoride in the water, and I think this is like a similar allegory to that, like the government moving in to control people. But it didn't work because while they could create a duplicate of the body, the soul was shared between the two. And so they weren't able to control them. Only the doubles were controlled by their above ground counterparts. And so the doubles were forced to mimic the actions of those, of the real people above ground, or their counterparts, their non-shadow versions, you could say. We see this taking place, the doubles recreating the funfair scene in a like horrible recreation underground. It's like zombies wandering around darkly, like a like half acting, half like rigor mortis kind of thing, where the people are eating food at like cheeseburgers and fries and things like that at the fun fair. Other people are just eating rabbits in a screeching room of rabbits. Horrible.
The like creepiest but funniest is the people are on like a tilt-a-whirl. And you see just a room of people running around in circles pretending they're still on it.
They're like recreating these fun fair rides, but without any of the actual machinery or technology. But so it's also, she says that all these people, these humans, they went mad underground because the government abandoned the project, but they left doubles of all these people here to rot and suffer. And go mad. And that's why they are acting this way. Because it would be a horrible existence. We see the like recreation of the funfair scene, the family walking along and all that stuff. And before the two meeting in the mirror maze, the two girls. After that, she says that she concocted a plan to get freedom from this place. And she when her double, the above ground Addie, got into dancing and dance performance, this was a like touched by God kind of moment for her. Like she became like she broke free of this like programming basically, and started preparing the rest of the doubles to attack the surface and create a grand statement about the injustice that was set upon them basically. by recreating Hands Across America.
Yeah, of course.
Which is, the only touchstone that they had here, but which will all be explained.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the dessert, James.
Oh, yeah.
Pop the plates in the oven for some reason.
It's coming.
This dessert's coming.
Heat it up. There's a slice of cherry pie coming. So after this is all explained, they get into a fight. The final confrontation, Great Gig, is playing for this, which is kind of a weird fight scene, but very dramatic because this fight scene is intercut with the ballet performance of their youth. Both halves, like the underground version and the above ground version, is both shown in cutaways as they fight each other with fire poker and scissors. It's rough. It's it's a serious fight, and Addie's attacks get more and more frenzied, and she starts like screaming with rage as she starts fighting as well. And the other one, her double, is very quiet and serene and moves very gracefully in contrast. Showing that break in the controlling of one another, because you'd expect them to move in perfect unison, right? But she's broken free. Eventually Addie comes out the victor and stabs her double through the chest with the poker, and while she lays dying, as we get the cha-ching of money coming in, the double starts whistling the tune from the start of the film, the Incy Wincy Spider again, which is and Addie strangles the life out of her using her still handcuffed hands.
Yeah.
And then she's victorious, and she lets out this awful laugh again. As she unlocks the handcuffs finally. She's been handcuffed for most of this movie. And
right? Yeah.
And unlocks the handcuffs with the chain around her double's neck. And Jason has, unbeknownst to her, been watching this last portion of the fight from a nearby locker that he's hid himself in, again, in character. And he's extremely mentally scarred by this, obviously. And they clasp hands, mirroring an earlier scene where, but this time his mum's hand is covered with blood. So they head back up very quickly to drive away in the ambulance. It's all presented in slow motion, kind of, them driving away. And we get a flashback to that fateful night once more down in the mirror maze, where it is revealed, the grand twist of this movie, that it was the double that escaped the underground facility and not the real Addie. Addie was left handcuffed, much like the double was through most of this movie. She was left handcuffed to her bunk down in the underground and forced to stay to mirror her actions above ground. And that's why she was able to break that programming, because she's not from there. She's not a government experiment, basically.
That's why she's the only one who can talk. There's all this,
And also, her the double, the evil version of Addie, strangled her, which is why she speaks in that horrible raspy voice, because she has damaged vocal cords. It's a sweet twist. It all tracks as well, because so she was wearing that Hands Across America t-shirt when she was kidnapped underneath her Thriller shirt, and that becomes the basis for the statement as this symbol of the inequality, right? And the big statement after they will rise up and reclaim what was theirs.
It's so good, because it's like we see their mood board, we see their branding exercise.
We see it all coming together.
We're on the Tethered Pinterests, because that's why they're dressed in their red jumpsuits with their single glove, is to be Michael Jackson, because that's one of the only touchstones she still has. And
nice.
I think all the VHSs that you see on the side of the Hands Across America ad at the beginning, which we had to assume Addie was watching.
Yeah.
Like, apparently they all play in quite well into the overall vibe of the film.
Yep.
It's just, it's smart stuff, but it does make me, I want to ask you, James, let's say you got swapped out when you were 6, and their evil plan was entirely based on what you were into when you were 6. What are the Tethered going to do?
Oh, man. They're just like coming at me dressed as Commander Keen, bouncing on pogo sticks. Everyone's wearing purple shirts and baseball helmets. And that is hard to deal with, honestly. They also probably all are armed with guns, so that ain't good.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, laser guns. Gee.
Dang.
So we're screwed, basically. Yeah.
Commander Keen.
Yeah, bro. Shout outs. What about you?
Well, we're a lot safer in mine, because I reckon the only thing the real me would know is Space Jam.
Oh, okay.
So everyone's alternates are coming out. They're all challenging each other to basketball games.
But they've been training.
That's true. But they also think that the way to win at basketball is hijinks.
True.
So they're going to try to distract you with a silly song, and you'll be like, what? And you'll get 1 3-pointer and win.
True. Okay, that doesn't sound so bad. Oh, yeah, I think we'll be safer
unless they kidnap LeBron James, in which case we're all stuff.
Nice. So yeah.
Or they kidnap older Michael Jordan.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Incredible. Us two, Space Jam. Us two, a new legacy. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's more connections like that. Like the scissors is from, there was a couple playing rock paper scissors above ground, and they only were going scissors over and over and over again. So that was another thing that was drilled in, and the only thing she could think about. I don't know what the rabbit connection was, so lay that one on me.
I don't have that for you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think it was just the government were feeding the tethered rabbits.
Yeah. So I think the theory is right that it's because they're clones, they were cloning rabbits, which is why it's part of the experiment, right? So there were loads and loads and loads of rabbits there first as part of that experiment before it went to human trials. And then when that failed, they were just left with a bunch of people and a bunch of rabbits, and that was it.
That's true. And rabbits, even if without the cloning, there's always going to be more rabbits.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, I like that a lot. That's perfect.
Sweet. But yeah, so we see all that, and then we see Jason sitting in the passenger seat of this ambulance looking over into his mum, and his mum there just gives a half smile, like a sly smile to camera, basically. And then, they just drive away. You're like, does Jason, has he figured out that she's the double? We don't know. It's left unclear.
Yeah, he pulls his mask down, which could be we're both going to hide this, or it could just be time to put my mask on.
Yeah, mask on, mask up.
Yeah.
And money trails out, and we go into us and them, baby, for the end of this movie, which is good because us and them.
Yeah, it's a perfect credit drop.
Yeah, and we get the ambulance driving along the road, and we see this Hands Across America, these doppelgängers forming a massive chain across the hillsides, and helicopters above looking down at them. And we go into the credits for us and them. Perfect. What did you think? How did it sink, Gareth?
I think I got briefly excited because I noticed like we were getting a lot of missed syncs that seemed to be just missed, as if the tethered were half remembering something and like the enacting, they were a bit off. But then I was like, also, that's me putting in a lot of work to like explain this tetheredness. I mean, explain the syncs. So like, yeah, we've got to be true to ourselves.
It's true.
And there were good syncs. It's definitely like, it's over the fives, but after that, I don't know what to give you.
Yeah, I'm feeling like 5 or 6 on it. I think that's right. I think.
Well, I think it has to be 5 because of the song that was made like iconic by the trailer. I got 5 on it.
Oh yeah, true. All right, nice.
Yeah, which they then edited a creepy version into the trailer, and then later edited it into the movie because people loved the creepy version so much.
Just the creepy version was better than the real one. That's wild.
Yeah.
Man. All right, fair. There we go.
Yeah.
I got
5. We got 5 on it.
We got 5 on us. So there we go. All right. So next week, we're still spooking. We still got a bit of spooky season left, I think. Right?
We do.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got another spook lined up for us, and I was liking we've done the 60s spooks and now the modern spooks, but let's go real far back, Gareth. I'm doing another deep delve into the past, and what we're going to be doing, we're going back into the Jeff Bezos Wikipedia collection available for free, because this film is available for free to watch on there. It is the 1922 Nosferatu, a symphony of horror.
Oh, yay.
Yes. Nothing more scary than German expressionism, Gareth.
Yeah. Those angles.
Oh! Yeah. That's all they had to watch down there in the tethered's realm.
They can only watch things available on Wikipedia Prime.
There you go. Sweet.
Love it.
Yeah.
Excited.
Great. Catch us on the socials. St. Floyd Pod. Available anywhere that you find yourself tethered to an Ethernet port.
Cool. Gosh, yeah. Hey, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
And I've been Gareth Blackler, and then in red, what was it? Edwin.
I've been James Barron in red Russell.
And we'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
On the dark side of the moon. Yeah, goodbye.
In red, on the light side of the moon.
On the light side of the moon.